Hey, everybody. OGG, Overt Go Green. How's it going? I'm good. I hope you are too. I got a deck tech for you today, but before we get to the deck, got 3 questions for you. 1, do you like casting spells from your graveyard? 2, do you like creatures that help you cast spells? And 3, do you like burn spells? Ooh, if you answered yes to all these questions, man, oh man, do I got a deck for you. I call this one Karolus Burn. So let's just get right to the deck tech. And starting with the namesake card here, Karolus, Stalwart Slayer. Red, white, 1 for a 2/3 flying haste. If a spell would deal damage to you or another permanent you control, prevent that damage. If a spell would deal damage to an opponent, or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 1. Obviously, this is a burn deck, and this is a creature that enables our burn to work. It literally makes all burn do 1 extra damage to any target. The other creatures in the deck, I got 4 Radiant Scroll Reaver, all the way back from Strixhaven. A little 2/4 instant and sorcery spells gain lifelink, which is nice bonus. But it allows us to cast a random card out of our graveyard. Another burn spell, which is great. Effectively, this is like drawing a card because it gives us action out of the graveyard. And then the only other creature in the deck, or there's 2 other creatures in the deck. The other one's Thermo Alchemist. This guy just is a decent blocker against some aggro decks and can chip in for a little bit of damage over time. He untaps every time you cast an instant or sorcery. And then the other house of a card is Bloodthirsty Adversary, another card from Midnight Hunt. Red 1 for a 2/2 haste. If you pay red 2 when it comes into play, for every time you pay that, the creature gets a +1/+1 counter. So, for example, you pay it once, it's a 3/3 haste. You pay it twice, it's a 4/4 haste, which is nice. But more importantly, you exile that many instant or sorcery cards with mana value 3 or less, and copy them, and then cast the copies without paying their mana cost. This clears out blockers if needed. This gets rid of a troublesome creature. Can throw damage to their face out of nowhere. Really a shockingly good card. And non-legendary. And that's the reason there's only 2 Karolus, is because he's legendary. So what are the burn? What's the burn? We got 4 Play with Fire. 4 Shock. Right? This is an arena-only card right now. Shock, just so you're aware. But Play with Fire and Shock both do damage to any target. Obviously, Play with Fire is slightly better, because it could scry you 1. I got 4 Royal Eruption. The spell is kicked, it deals 5 damage. Remember, if you copy it with Bloodthirsty Adversary or cast it out of your graveyard with Radiant Scroll Weaver, you have the option to kick it again. So it's a nice 3 damage sorcery to anything. 4 Sacred Fire. Don't sleep on the gaining 2 life on this card. Also the flashback. But for red, white instant, do 2 damage, gain 2 life. Not terrible. 4 Igneous Inspiration. Red 2 sorcery. Deal 3 damage to any target. Learn. We'll get to the learn board here in a second. And then Magic Missile. Magic Missile works great with Karolus, because each instance of that 1 damage does an extra damage. So you could feasibly do 2 damage to 3 targets. You could do 3 damage to 1 target and 2 damage to another. Really, or 4 damage to 1 target. Really works well with Rem if he's on the board. The lands, 3 Needle Verge, 3 Fury Calm, 3 Den of the Bugbear. You might wonder, why 3? Why not 4 of these? Because I didn't spend the wild cards on them, and I'm free to play, so I don't have 4 of everything. But this deck totally works with just this. And then the learn board for Igneous Inspiration. This learn will trigger quite often because of being able to get cards using Bloodthirsty Adversary or Radiant Scroll Wielder, you might cast this from your graveyard, and that gets you these guys. We got 1 Academic Probation, 2 Environmental Sciences, and to be honest, I find myself casting this about 90% of the time. 1 Start from Scratch, 1 Introduction to Prophecy, 1 Illuminate History, and 1 Mascot Exhibition. Yeah, that's the whole deck. That's the whole deck right there. If you have any suggestions, comments, just leave them down below. If you're digging the content, appreciate the thumbs up and the sub. That'd be great. Otherwise, I hope to see you during the gameplay videos. And this is OGG out!